My lost wife. There are moments in life that change everything, moments that separate before from after. For me, that moment was the day I lost my wife, Annika. Annika wasn't just my wife, she was my world, my reason to smile every morning, and my peace every night. We met when I was nothing but a struggling artist, painting dreams on canvas but living in shades of gray. She was my first buyer, or so I thought. Later I learned she didn't buy my painting because she liked it. She bought it because she saw me inside it. Chapter 1. When we met. It was a rainy afternoon in 2010. I was sitting at a small exhibition in a local art gallery, my paintings neatly arranged, though no one seemed interested. People came, glanced, and walked away, as if my art was invisible. Just when I was about to pack up, a girl in a yellow dress stopped in front of one of my paintings, a sunset over a river. She looked at it quietly for a few minutes, and then turned to me. "Did you paint this?" she asked. "Yes," I said, trying to sound confident. "There's sadness in this sunset," she said softly. "But there's also hope." I didn't know what to say. It was the first time someone had seen what I was truly trying to express. She smiled and handed me an envelope. "I'll take it," she said. That was how Annika entered my life, like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. Chapter 2. Love and Simplicity. Over the next few months, we met often. She was a teacher, full of life and laughter, while I was still chasing dreams with empty pockets. Yet, we found happiness in the smallest things, sharing street-side tea, watching the sunset from her balcony, or walking in the rain without umbrellas. One evening, as we sat by the river, I asked her, "Why do you like my paintings so much?" She smiled. "Because they speak when you don't." That night, I realized I had fallen in love. And a few months later, when I finally gathered the courage to propose, she simply said, "I was waiting for you to ask." We married in a small ceremony, surrounded by friends and laughter. I wasn't rich, but she didn't care. She often said, "We may not have everything, but we have enough to be happy." And she was right. Our home was small but full of love, our days simple but full of laughter. I painted while she taught children. Every evening she'd sit beside me and hum softly as I worked. Life was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Chapter 3. The Unspoken Goodbye. It started with a headache, nothing serious at first. Annika brushed it off, saying it was just stress. But over time, it grew worse. Some days, she couldn't even get out of bed. I begged her to see a doctor, and when she finally did, our world shattered. She had a brain tumor. I remember sitting beside her hospital bed as the doctor explained the treatment options. My hands trembled, my heart screamed, but Annika just smiled faintly and said, "It's going to be okay." Even in pain, she comforted me. The next few months were a blur of hospital visits, surgeries, and silent prayers. I stopped painting. I couldn't. Every stroke of the brush reminded me of the life slipping away from me. But she never gave up. "Promise me," she said one night, holding my hand tightly. "If anything happens to me, you'll keep painting. Don't let your art die with me." I wanted to tell her not to say such things, but I couldn't speak. My tears said everything. Chapter 4. The Day. Everything changed. It was a quiet morning when it happened. She had been in the hospital for weeks. I brought her favorite flowers, white lilies. She smiled, weak but beautiful. "I love lilies," she whispered. "They remind me of peace." We talked for a while, about everything and nothing. Then she closed her eyes and said, "I'm tired. Let me rest for a while." That was the last thing she ever said. The machines beeped. The doctors rushed in. I stood frozen, my world collapsing around me. And just like that, Annika was gone. Gone, leaving behind silence, memories, and a heart that refused to beat the same way again. Chapter 5. The Empty House. After her funeral, the house felt like a stranger's place. Her clothes still hung in the closet, her books lay open on the table, her favorite cup sat by the window, untouched. I couldn't move anything. It felt like she might come back any minute and scold me for being messy. But she never did. Days turned into weeks. weeks into months. I tried to paint again, but the colors wouldn't listen. The canvas remained empty, mocking my emptiness. One evening, as I sat in her chair, I found her old diary. I hesitated before opening it, afraid of the pain it might bring, but curiosity won. On the first page, she had written, "If you're reading this, I'm probably gone. But remember, my love, death can't erase love. Paint me in your sunsets, write me in your rain. I'll always be there." Tears fell on the pages, smudging her words, but her message was clear. She wanted me to live, not just survive. Chapter 6. The Promise. The next morning, for the first time in months, I picked up my brush. My hands trembled, but I began to paint. A woman in a yellow dress standing by a river, watching the sunset. The same painting she once bought from me. I called it My Lost Wife. That painting changed everything. People who saw it said they could feel the emotion, the pain, the love, the hope. It was featured in magazines, displayed in galleries, and even won awards. But none of that mattered to me. All that mattered was that I had kept my promise. Every painting I made after that had a touch of her, sometimes hidden in the colors, sometimes in the shadows, sometimes in the smile of a stranger in my art. Chapter 7. The Letter I Never Sent. Years passed, but I still talked to her every night. I wrote her letters I never sent, letters filled with stories, laughter, and confessions. Dear Annika, the garden is blooming again. The lilies are beautiful, just like you. I still can't drink tea without remembering how you used to dip the biscuit twice and then smile. I painted a new series today. It's called Echoes of You. The world says it's my best work, but they don't know. It's your heart I'm painting, not mine. I miss you every day. But I've learned to live with your memories. They don't hurt anymore. They heal. Writing to her became my therapy, my way of keeping her alive. Chapter 8. The Reunion. One day, while hosting an exhibition, a young woman approached me. She was around 25, with kind eyes and a familiar smile. "Are you Mr. Arav?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "I'm Mira. My mother was one of your biggest fans." She paused, tears glistening in her eyes. "Before she passed away, she told me to find you someday and tell you, thank you for showing her that true love exists." Then she handed me a small envelope. Inside was a letter, written in Annika's handwriting. "If you ever meet him, tell him I never left. I just moved into his art." I stood frozen, holding the letter as the world blurred around me. Somehow, in ways beyond explanation, Annika had found a way to speak to me again, through someone else's heart, through love that never dies. Epilogue. My lost wife lives on. It's been 15 years since Annika left, but I no longer call her my lost wife, because love like hers can never be lost, only transformed. When people visit my gallery, they often ask, "Who's the woman in all your paintings?" I smile and say, "She's the reason I learned what love means." Every sunset reminds me of her laughter. Every raindrop whispers her name. Every painting is a letter to her soul. Annika once said that death couldn't erase love. Now I know she was right. She isn't gone. She lives in my art, my heart, and every color I touch. My lost wife became my eternal muse.